Say, man, you see my crab cakes? Till I'm all alone. If you see my crab cakes, tell her things went wrong. Don't call on the phone and bring a black dog home. A little tartar too. Come on, little girl, tell me what you want to do. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. So come on, baby, let's get Louisiana down. If you see my crab cake, have you seen my crab cake? If you see my crab cake, tell I'm all alone. Tell her I still love her, and when she come back home.
Now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. studio in Lake George in New York. I'm Bill Calogero. It's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, a good evening, whenever you're listening. Programming note, we will not be doing a live show tomorrow. So for the late notice, but fear not, all the TV affiliates as well as the radio station affiliates will be getting a show, so everybody that's used to tuning into your dial or your television, you guys will be getting a show, a best of show, I guess. But the podcast is, and YouTube is, you guys aren't getting anything. No show. Will be back on Monday. Apologize for the last minute, but when they need my services, they need my services. And since I need the money, I gotta go now. But anyway, don't forget the show is being brought to you in part by Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. If you're looking for a limousine, you need to give my girl Cat a call, 202-351-7496. Now, she can handle any limousine service in the United States, so make sure you give her a call, 202-351-7496. And Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service is the official transportation service, or I should say the official limousine service of the Billy C. Boxing Hall of Fame induction weekend gathering get-together, which is taking place this November 16th, 17th, 18th. Make sure you make your plans. We are anticipating a great time and a huge crowd because, I've been getting these calls from people, oh, is there room for me? Is there room? I mean, I'm talking, I told you already about Harold Lenneman from HBO. He's coming up, and we're getting, rumor has it that Iceman Scully's going to be bringing Chad Dawson with him, so we're excited about that. And then, of course, all of the inductees have committed. Haven't been able to reach Buddy McGirt yet, but all of the inductees have committed, as well as everyone from last year, especially Marlon Starling. He might be taking over. This whole Hall of Fame might be run by him. This guy is really into this whole thing that we're doing, and he's the perfect guy for it. So make sure you make your plans now. Visit our website, www.billycboxing.com. Click one of the Billy C. Boxing Hall of Fame banners / posters, whatever you want to call it, and that'll give you the latest up-to-date news. As a matter of fact, we're going to be posting all of the activities that are going to be going on and how it's going to be broken up over the weekend, so make sure you check that out. Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service, give her a call. But just remember, she's my girl, 202-351-7496. The show is also being brought to you in part by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep me out of trouble, and that's Campanaro and Tomkovich, 845-221-4099. Let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem, 845-221-4099. And, of course, my friends over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls, the outdoor section of the facility is open. Go check it out. The food is great. They got a bar inside. They got a bar outside. All kinds of stuff always going on there. Except when ESPN Friday Night Fights doesn't decide to have Friday Night Fights, then we're not there. So, hey, if you're speaking about Halftime Bar and Grill, if you're looking to get some tickets to the May 18th, Raymond Serrano against Kareem Mayfield, it's going to be taking place at the Albany Times Union. You can win a chance to get tickets by visiting the Halftime Bar and Grill and get yourself some chances to those. Or you could just visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click one of the Star Boxing banners and get yourself some tickets. Tell them Billy C sent you. Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls, 518-792-4869 if you want to call ahead, 792-4869. Busy show schedule today. I want to remind everyone that Gleason's Gym, we got this really great thing going on with Gleason's. And Daxx is going to be covered. They got this. Well, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but they got this special thing going on for what they call white collar, but it's all approved by the USA Boxing and everything else. So Daxx is going to be doing some stuff on that in the near future. But what we're really looking for is any of you guys that are deciding to go to the fantasy camp. Now, Gleason's puts one on every single year. This is the 10th year. We're trying to find a Billy C listener or viewer that is going to take advantage of the camp and go. And then we want to follow you. We want to do a write-up on you. We want to follow you through the camp and document your experience and, of course, cover the fight that you have at the end of this whole thing. So if you're interested in doing that, step number one is to get yourself signed up for the camp. And you could do that by calling Gleason's Gym, 718-797-2872. That's 718-797-2872. Or you can visit our website and click the Gleason's Gym banner, which is on the right-hand side of the screen. Click that. That'll take you to the website. Sign up and then email me. And everybody that enters, we'll pull out a name out of the hat, and you'll get it. And we'll love to follow around and make you a star. So Gleason's yearly boxing fantasy camp. Make sure you sign up for that. Next week, we got Abel Perry coming on. Abel Perry's the opponent for Antonio Margarito. Now, Antonio Margarito hurt his widowed foot, but they rescheduled the fight, I guess sometime in July, so We'll be talking to Abel Perry about his opportunity next week, so make sure you check that out. And just FYI, we have a section on the website called Coming Up This Week. It'll list what the guests are and what our topics are going to be and all that stuff, so make sure you do that. Keep them emails coming. We love getting full mailbags. And don't forget about the Billy C. Bucks. And speaking about emails, let's get into them right now. We got a bunch of them. Logical Statements says... Logical Statements is trying to help me pronounce the word testosterone, and he writes it, or she writes it out the way it should be: testosterone. So thank you very much, and obviously Local Statements, you're either thinking I'm a total idiot, or you're a longtime listener and must know that I need help, just like you gave me. So, Logical Statements, thank you very much. Testosterone. So I gotta save that one. I gotta save that one because I'm sure that's going to be coming up a little later on the show. Also, we got Arbo 3000 says having no problems beating a Klitschko. Ha ha ha. He says Klitschko's a forever. Now this was. From, I guess he went back and listened to one of the older shows through YouTube, and he might have missed our point. I am not in any way, shape, or form, knocking the Klitschkos at this point in time. There's no way I am. The whole basis of that particular show was that we had a poll question up, and the question was, would anyone of yesteryear, the old time greats, would they have had no problem beating a Klitschko? That was the basic, because we get into these conversations about the older fighters and how much greater they are and blah blah blah. And what I was looking for was, who did you think would have no problem beating a Klitschko? And there was, we picked, I think, 4 or 5 top names in the heavyweight division. And if, in case you didn't know what the results were and all of that stuff, there was no one that had, that was voted as having absolutely no problem beating a Klitschko. So that's what that was about, Arbro 3000. So thanks for taking the time for the email. We have another one, and this one is from, okay, it's from Super Nigga 34 is what the ID is, and he or she says, in the old days, only North Americans and a few Europeans fought at least. Okay, you guys got to learn about don't they teach? I'm curious, man. In English class, or is this just the new generation? Because you guys are so used to texting and abbreviating. I mean, in English, do they teach you guys about like a period after a sentence, and then the next beginning sentence gets a capital and all? I don't know, but what he said is, in the old days, North Americans and a few Europeans fought, and then it should be a new statement and says, at least now everyone gets a chance. Well, Super, I don't know if that's a true statement at all. Because, boxing actually, in Europe, it was way more prominent in the early days than it was here in the States. As a matter of fact, in the bare knuckle times, boxing was born, so to speak, at least as we know it today, as prize fighting or boxing in England. It was more popular in Europe than the United States. As a matter of fact, the United States didn't really... boxing wasn't really popular in the United States until the Civil War, and the reason why is because Americans started looking at boxing as a form of exercise. We were going through some changes, and that was one of the things that helped boxing grow in the States. I will admit that today it seems that more Europeans and more people from outside Europe, just from all over the world, are getting more opportunity. And, I think that's great. And we are just afraid that these guys are and girls are fighting because some of the athletes from the United States and Europe are deciding to go into other sports. So if it were growing and we had just as many boxers involved in our sport in the U.S. and Europe and then we added all these other, fighters from other countries like the Ukraine and the Orient and blah, 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 that would be great. But unfortunately, we're losing numbers on one and gaining on another. Either way, I'm cool with it because with the technology that we have today, it gives us an opportunity to watch these fights from the Orient, let's say, and the Ukraine. And even for me, to be able to watch as many from Europe as I get to today that I would have never had the opportunity yesterday. So yesteryear. So anyway, great mailbag, and I appreciate it. Super Nigga 34. Hey, we got to take a break, and we'll be right back in about. I'm going to make a prediction. 2 minutes.
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Rosselli Enterprises. Rosselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flowboys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Rosselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RosselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the IDO computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IDO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at iboboxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you. I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C radio show. Check out the website, www.billycboxing.com. Hey, check out Gleason's. That's right, Gleason. The famous gym, man. You know what gym I'm talking about. Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn, man. In Brooklyn, New York. You know, it's got to be one of the most, at least active today, one of the most famous gyms. And they got all kinds of stuff going on. You can check out our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the Gleason's Gym fight poster / banner. It's on the right-hand side. And sign up for one of their events or get some tickets to one of their shows. But the thing that we're really pushing right now is the fantasy boxing camp. And the reason why is because, you know, we have an interest in it because we want you to sign up, and then we want to follow you. You know, we want to do an article about you. We want to get some footage of you training and fighting, and want to talk about it on the show. So if you're going to be signing up to this year's fantasy camp, make sure you drop us an email, Billy@talkingboxing, TALKINBOXING.com, and we want to follow you. Call up Gleason 718-797-2872. That's 718-797-2872. Or, like I said, visit them on the website through ours. Daxx Khan will be joining us in a little bit. I wanted to see that he was in the chat room either earlier this morning or yesterday. looking like his normal spelling, So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the chat room. But continue with the mailbag filled with emails. I guess that's what the term I got. These are emails and comments that we put in a mailbag. A lot of times I go, I got another mailbag. But that's not what I mean. Anyway, Bigaback says, and he says to us and to responding to Given Quality, he says, I said it a million times. Floyd beats Pacquiao any day of the week. Floyd gambles on everything but his own fights. And he only fights guys when he's heavily favored to win. That's why he ducks everybody until the odds are massively on his side. Otherwise, he won't fight. Come on, man. You think that? Do you really think that Floyd Mayweather watches the way the odds are and then decides to fight somebody? Projected odds. Come on. Hey, listen. We all know he's a gambler. We know he likes to brag about his winnings. We never hear about his losings, his losses. But who murders the English language more than me, huh? Come on, man. But, the thing is this. If you think that he beats Manny Pacquiao any day of the week, that's cool. But, and I respect all your opinions, but, as much as I can't stand Floyd, I can't think that the only reason that he, takes these fights is when the odds go to his favor. Then you're actually insinuating that he does actually bet on himself and maybe let somebody else put it in there. I don't know. But Bigaback says, it really hurts me to say this, but Floyd is the best at making adjustments in the fights. Hey, it shouldn't hurt you to say that. It's pretty true. He says, as well as having the highest ring IQ I have seen in a fighter. Do they have a test for that? I don't know about that. I'm not going to give him that much credit. But he's still not top 5 all-time great. You're right. You're 100% right, Bigaback. He's not top 5 all-time great. He's not. He's, it depends how far back you look. If you're going to look back 25 years, yeah, he's in there. If you're going to look back 100 years, no way. No way. And it's not his fault. Maybe some of it is his fault. The big knock on him is that he hasn't fought the best of the best when he should have. He's fought some of these same names later on. Whether that haunts him or not, I don't know. I've been saying all week that, his last 3 performances kind of make you forget about a lot of the layups that he had. But when push comes to shove, you can only fight the people that are available. And whether you argue when he's fought the guys or not, at this stage of the game for Floyd Mayweather, there is no one that, I have our rankings that are updated right now. You can go check them out on BillyCBoxing.com. And right now, if I just look at the rankings real quick, and I see, Sergio Martinez obviously is a middleweight. So, do we expect Floyd to move up in weight anymore? I don't think we should expect him to, but, that's a name. As far as junior middleweight, that's where we have him ranked right now. We're based on the guy who beat the guy. He's number 1 because Miguel was number 1. You look down our rankings, Saul Alvarez is number 2. Do we really want to see him fight Saul Alvarez? I guess we would have to, and we couldn't fault him for it. Saul Alvarez is number 2 guy. But do you think he's got a chance against Floyd? You go down the list, Asrani Lara, Sergey Denzurk, Vanis Martirosyan, James Kirkland, Cornelius Bundage, Austin Chow, Carlos Molina. Come on, man. Floyd chews these guys and chews them up and spits them out. You move back down to welterweight. The only fight there is Manny Pacquiao. Do you want to see him fight Victor Ortiz again? You want to see him fight Berto, Kell Brook, Paulie Malignaggi, Devon Alexander, Mike Jones, Zan Zivic, Selkirk Iden, Randall Bailey? There's nobody left for him. Come on. I can't stand the guy outside the ring. But as far as in the ring, who's left for him? Who's left? But all-time great, top 5, never. Top 10, never. I got him maybe breaking my top 25 all time. That's all time any weight class. So I mean, there's so many great fighters. But I was glad I got to see him in our era right now. So thanks to Bigaback for his comments. Luke 82603. You guys, talk about coming up with some great stuff. He says, and this was a response to, I guess, not yesterday's show, but the day before. It was titled, Lamont, you dumb Peterson fails drug test. A 154-pound Cotto in prime shape like he was is a dangerous SOB. Mayweather's performance was one of the best I've seen. I agree with that statement, both of those statements. So I'm with you there, Luke. He says, besides being a defensive wizard, the best counterpuncher, his focus, conditioning, and determination. Obviously, he's referring to Mayweather. He continues to show he can take shots that will knock out most guys out cold and embarrass the crap out of you. Whoever don't like watching Mayweather in the ring, I would not call him a boxing fan. How could you not like Cotto? A true warrior. Margarito should be stoned for those raps. I think he was. I think he was stoned when they were doing his raps because they didn't even see him. But anyway, the thing is this. If you're going to judge Mayweather on his performance against Cotto, if you're going to judge Mayweather on his performance against Ortiz or Shane Mosley, I would agree with that. But there's way too many other fights of his that are just bore fest. So yeah, the new Floyd Mayweather, the aggressive Floyd Mayweather. Now a guy like Given Quality wouldn't like that because he feels that he's a sweet science guy, and he feels that we should be enjoying Floyd Mayweather's boxing ability, which I can't deny, I can't argue. But you got to mix it in, man. You got to mix it in with a little excitement. Otherwise, you're not going to sell tickets. I mean, obviously, Floyd can sell whatever he wants. But anyway, thanks to Luke, 82603, 826-409, whatever that's all. Thanks, Luke, for the comments. We got another email from Boo M. Stickin. Says, now Khan has no reason not to move up and fight the big boys at 147. Again, let's take a look. I mean, Amir Khan with this whole Lamont, you dumb Peterson thing. Amir Khan, junior welterweight, he's number 3 right now. I like some other fights again with him. I like some other fights in the junior welterweight division with him if he can still make that weight. We'll see what Timothy Bradley does after the Pacquiao fight. Lamont Peterson's going to eventually be back. Danny Garcia's a young gun. Matisse, Alvarado, Zab Judah. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, I thought Amir Khan was tops until he fought Peterson. You look at welterweight. I mean, there's a couple interesting fights there for him. Maybe Devon Alexander, maybe Paulie Malignaggi, Kell Brook. Yeah. Well, good points, man. Good points. Maybe he should move up. Maybe now is the time for him to move up. So, Boo M. Stickin. I don't know if I can disagree with you there, my man. UK boxing fan says, I'm shocked. This F's up my plan, my hotel, my plane tickets, my fight tickets. He says, F. Lamont Peterson, P-E-D, Cheaterson. He calls him Peterson, P-E-D, capitalized, Cheaterson. It's an interesting point. All these fans, and apparently there were lots of them coming from the UK. Yeah, that's one thing I got to say about the British boxing fans, everyone from the UK. You guys support your fighters. I love that. We were talking about that yesterday with Ricky Hatton, bringing over all that booze and stuff. That was great, and the band. Remember the band when Ricky Hatton fought Mayweather? They had the band up with the drums and all that stuff. You guys are just, I just don't know how you do it, man. It must be like everybody's passing out cocaine or something because these guys start drinking from like the time they wake up all the way through the fight the next day. I mean, you guys just keep going strong, man. I don't know how you do it. Maybe youth, but it was reported that a lot of people were making the trip from England over to the U.S. to watch this fight in Vegas. And now, look at all the money. You know, I'll be talking about that in a little bit, but hold that thought because I got to take a break. And when I come back, I'll finish that thought and a couple more emails, all in about 2.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at a stretcher, that man, I would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. From upstate New York in the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. And tell him Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C, the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C, damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. It's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting me? Wait, what?
Wrong.
What's
wrong,
the problem?
Billy,
what?
C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask you.
Wrong speech. What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You're listening to the Talk About with Billy C Radio Show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. If you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, then you need to call your local television provider and tell them that you want to add Fight Now right now. That's right. Tell them that you want to add the Fight Now channel to your sports channel lineup. Hey, especially for everyone with the AT&T Uverse TV provider. Yeah. I always say network, but it's really a television provider. If you have AT&T Uverse, you're ready to roll, man. You just gotta call them up and or fill out the survey we got going on up at the website www.billycboxing.com, and you can see it right on the front page. Click it. Take about 30 seconds. For anyone else, I don't care if you have a satellite provider or cable provider. It's very simple. All you got to do is pick up the phone and call them and tell them you want Fight Now. Add it to your sports channel lineup. Don't forget, every night is Fight Night on Fight Now. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, they show a new fight. So check out their website for all the information about the channel and, of course, about their schedule. We're reading some emails, and I'm getting to them right now, wrapping them up here. We got this last one I got from a UK boxing fan. He's a little pissed off about the fight being canceled, the Khan-Peterson and Amir Khan fight being canceled, which I'll get to in a second. But one of the things is, he says he had hotel reservations, plane tickets, fight tickets, everything else. Now, Golden Boy, Richard Schaefer, said that, so many people are going to be losing money, and he pointed out about all the fans. Over 4,000 people, apparently, according to Golden Boy, were making the trip from England to Las Vegas to support Amir Khan. 4,000. Now, I know that they can get their hotel money reimbursed. I know that they can get their fight tickets reimbursed because I know that Golden Boy said that fight tickets are 100% refundable. But what about the plane, man? The plane. What about the plane? I know for a fact that you it's like you can't get your money back. You can get another plane ticket. So I mean, hey. So we'll see. I got it, Dax. You sent it to me, and I used that one. Dax is communicating. This is Dax's way of just getting on earlier. He just wants to get on earlier, so he's like, trying to keep my attention off of the mailbag here, talking to me in the chat room. But he's gonna come on in a few minutes. Actually, I wanted him on earlier than he wanted, but we'll see what happens. But got a couple more emails to read. One is a few more here. Hawk, my man Hawk. Says, I don't really like Hay or Mayweather. Both guys brag up their ability far more than their true confidence suggests. Hay talked a gang of smack and ducked the Klitschko brothers for as long as he could. When Hay finally stepped up and fought Vladimir, he fought very scared. It wasn't Vlad, it was Vitali. He fought very scared and got soundly beaten. And Floyd has a long history of ducking the top boxes the fans were calling for. A prime Cotto, a prime Margarito, of course Manny Pacquiao, and even Martinez at 154. He says, I think Hayes a good boxer, but he don't live up to his hype. Same for Floyd. Floyd does kind of live up to his hype when he wants to, and I think he's aware of the. We're all saying, and he says, I don't care about the legacy. I'm the greatest ever, and all of this stuff. But I think he does care about his legacy, and I think it's evident with his performances in the last couple of fights. He is fighting exciting, and he is taking chances, and I think that's just putting an exclamation point on his career. I think that's what he's thinking. I don't think we're going to see Floyd much longer. As a matter of fact, if he announces retirement today, I wouldn't blame him. There's really, no matter how we break it down, there's only 2 fights for him, really. And even those, I don't even think we need to, really hold him to it. And that's, of course, Manny Pacquiao, Sergio Martinez. I personally think that he needs Pacquiao more than Pacquiao needs him. If he beats Pacquiao, I mean, even the worst Mayweather fans like me, I can't stand the guy. I have to give him all the credit in the world. So, but I totally agree with Hawk about David Hay. This was a guy, I was criticized about his success in the cruiserweight division. There's no doubt that he had success in the cruiserweight division, but his whole tenure in the heavyweight division was a farce, in my opinion. And the guy is, I don't, you know what? To be honest, I remember going back and looking at a lot of his fights as cruiserweight, and I still don't see anything that impresses the hell out of me. He very well may have been at the top of the cruiserweight division before he moved up to heavyweight. But the guy is the guy. I mean, he's just not. I don't think he's that skilled. The only thing I'll give him credit for is he's got freakish power. He does, and we all saw that when he fought Nikolai Valuev. So, Hawk goes on to say this last guy, Joe, is a nerd and he's got his little word for Mayweather fans. So I'm just gonna say Mayweather fan. He's talking about Joe Santoliquito. He says, all the Floyd fans were screaming that Cotto was old and shot. when Bob Arum mentioned it, mentioned Cotto as a Pacquiao opponent for a second time. Then Mayweather cherry picks the same old shot boxer, and now they're saying and that they were saying he was shot, and the story changed. Oh, now Cotto is older and fatter, and he's better. He got a new trainer. He says that's all BS. He said Floyd was exposed by the leftover Manny mopped up the ring with. I know styles make fights. Floyd Mayweather beats Manny Pacquiao easy. Then why all the roadblocks? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's greed. I think it has to do with the hatred between Mayweather and Bob Arum. And as far as that, I personally think the fight's going to happen in November. I think you're going to hear about it as soon as Pacquiao's done fighting Bradley, and assuming he beats Bradley. I think as soon as Floyd gets out of jail, which is a big joke, once he gets out of jail, they're going to announce it. I think, but that's just my opinion. If not, it's over. We won't see it. This is from Mike Irving. He says, Billy, I have one more thing to add to my emails. He said Floyd knocked Manny off the pound-for-pound list after he fought Marquez. Didn't knock him off. He knocked him from number 1 to number 2, at least in our list. Before that fight, Manny was everyone's number 1. The reason for that is reasonable enough because Floyd did a lot better versus Marquez than Manny did. However, if you take that common opponent argument, then people should ask themselves this question. Of their 4 common opponents, who had the better results? And he lists 4 here. Ricky Hatton, Oscar De La Hoya, Sugar Shane Mosley, and Miguel Cotto. And in his opinion, he says, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the answer is Pacquiao fought had a better result against Hatton. Pacquiao had a better result against De La Hoya. Pacquiao had a better result against Mosley, and Pacquiao had a better result against Cotto. He says, to me, that counts for something. First of all, in the Hatton fight with Floyd, I thought that Joe Cortez ruined the fight for Ricky, and it forced Floyd into knocking him out. Otherwise, Floyd would have danced around and beat him the way he used to up to that point. So I think Hatton made that fight, but I do agree that Manny Pacquiao's win over Hatton was a little more impressive than Floyd's, although they both were pretty good. De La Hoya, a lot of people think that that fight was extremely close. If it weren't for the fact that Floyd turned it on at the end, he may have very well have lost that decision. As a matter of fact, I know I was criticized, but that was a close fight. Some people do think he lost, even despite coming on strong in the last 3-4 rounds. So that one's a layup. Manny Pacquiao definitely looked better against De La Hoya, but the argument could be, hey, that was a couple of years later, So as far as Mosley goes, when I think of Mosley Pacquiao, I think two guys should have gotten a hotel room, man, because they touched gloves more times than I don't even want to say it, but I don't want to say it, man. I know Dax's kids are watching, so I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But the bottom line is, I got to disagree with my man Mike here. I think Floyd's performance against Mosley was better than Pacquiao. As far as Cotto's concerned, I think Cotto did better against Mayweather than he did against Pacquiao. Now, I know the Mayweather fans are going to complain about the weight, which you can't because Cotto signed the contract. But I also think Cotto, I thought he fought a different fight against Mayweather. I enjoyed both the fights. I thought that Pacquiao just, beat Cotto badly, and Floyd Mayweather gave us an entertaining fight. So that was Mike Irving's thoughts. I appreciate the email. I got one more. This is the last one. He says, and this one's from Alex T., the other Alex. He says, what the hell's going on with Vinny Barbarino, man? Jeez. Man, the boy in the plastic bubble turned out to be a real freak. He's referring to John Travolta and the accusations that are out that He's making sexual advances towards a male masseuse. So I guess when you have everything, you want to try something new. I don't know what the hell. I just liked him in Pulp Fiction. Vinny Barbarino. Yeah, that's Welcome Back, Kotter. It's funny that he says that. I have a Welcome Back, Kotter reference later in the show. But he says, James Jeffries. I'll be honest, I've always looked at James Jeffries as the Great White Hope and never really paid attention to his career before the Johnson fight. Looking at his record before the Johnson fight, I think you can make a good argument that he never came out of retirement. He may be considered one of the top 10 heavyweight champions of all time. Before he fought Johnson, he was 8-0 in title defenses and had 2 wins over Bob Fitzsimmons and James Corbett. It's a shame that he was used as a pawn in a Johnson fight. I've always had the impression that he was happily retired and didn't want to fight Johnson, but he was pushed into it. What's your thoughts? First of all, we've talked about that with the heavyweight spotlight, Tony Treem and myself. You know, James Jeffries is regarded. Tony Treem thinks he's the greatest heavyweight of all time. And if you've never read, anything on James Jeffries, I mean, this guy was a freak. As barbaric as the sport was at that time, it was, still kind of in the gloved era. It was still kind of, learning its ways, so to speak. The style of it was changing. Although James Jeffries did have a decent jab, he was a powerful guy, a big guy. And, that was the argument that they were trying to say that, because at that time you couldn't lose the title unless you lost it in the ring. So they were trying to say that he didn't let Jack Root and Marvin Hart, because he handpicked those 2 guys to fight for his vacant title when he decided to hang it up. As a matter of fact, he was the referee in that fight. But when you do look at his career, he beat all of the top heavyweights of his era. I mean, some knockout, drag-out fights. I mean, Tom Sharkey was another one that he had. You mentioned the Bob Fitzsimmons fights. I mean, they were good. Corbett just couldn't find his way with him either. So, he's definitely one of the all-time great fighters. And I think a fighter like him today would have been competitive as well. Now, as far as the him being pushed into the fight, that's an understatement. This guy was 300 and something pounds, very happy on his alfalfa farm in California, and was living life. He's happy with his wife, and he was just very happy. And I always say Jack Crow, but Jim Crow, New York, of the way U.S. was, how prejudiced everyone's. They couldn't live with the fact that there was a black man as a world champion. Of course, Jack Johnson. And they pushed him into it. I mean, they put the pressure of the entire white race, is the way it was not only talked among people, but it was printed in the press. One of the most amazing issues of the day is such an accomplished writer, Jack London, who was highly regarded. This was a guy that was leading the pack in a column in newspapers on a regular basis, stating, just that, you got to save the white race. We got to, knock that gold-toothed smile off that black man's face. And they didn't say black man. They used the N-word in print, So, to say that he was pushed into it is an understatement. So I'm glad you're checking that out, Alex. And if you want to read a good book, there's a couple of good books out about James Jeffries. And as a matter of fact, I believe we have one up under the Billy C. Book Club. If not, I think Adam Pollack has one, and there was another one, too, I read that I actually liked better. But I could give you some references on that one. He says, bringing it back to this century, he says, I think De La Hoya saying Alvarez isn't ready for Mayweather is BS. How much better can Alvarez get? How many fights does he need? He has got 40 right now. Does he need 50? De La Hoya doesn't want his biggest ticket seller to lose, and that's why he won't make that fight. Golden Boy and Floyd are pals, and they co-promote an event. But if it comes down to Floyd facing Oscar's fighter, Oscar won't take the chance of putting Alvarez in a fight that he could lose, especially when Alvarez can continue to fight B-level opponents and sell tons of tickets and be on HBO. I don't know if I agree with that one, Alex T. I think that he's saying that he's not ready for it, maybe as a PR campaign to help have people say, yeah, he's ready, have supporters of Alvarez push for the fight, and then they can make it without getting criticized. How much better can he get? I'm not sure, But I don't see him being competitive with Floyd. I don't see him being competitive with a lot of fighters today. He didn't struggle with Shane Mosley, but he couldn't get him out of there. As far as technically sound, he is a technically sound fighter, except for those knee locks. I think that's ridiculous of how he does that. I've never seen knees lock in reverse like that. I've seen people dig in and use their body to throw a punch and all of that, but I've never seen someone lock their knee kind of backwards, and it defeats the purpose. But as far as him fighting Mayweather and losing, I don't think that's a big deal. First of all, if he fights Mayweather, De La Hoya's in line to make a ton of money, and so is Alvarez. It's a win-win situation. Alvarez has the power to land a lucky punch. I'm not saying he could land a punch on Floyd, but let's say he did, and he stops Floyd. I mean, geez, that's, this guy's going to, that's a historical boxing thing right there. Bam. If he doesn't and Floyd beats him, so what? Then you could say, well, he was only 21. He wasn't ready. All of that thing. So, if they make that fight, it wouldn't surprise me. But honestly, I think really when push comes to shove, there's one fight for Floyd, and that's against Manny Pacquiao. If you want to squeeze another fight out of it, yeah, maybe we could say Sergio Martinez. I got some news, and that's the end of the mailbag. Phew, that was a full one, huh? I wanted to make sure I give a special shout out. Now, first and foremost, Dave Wilcox occasionally comes on the show. He used to be a regular on the show, and occasionally he still comes on. And we love him for that. But the boxing community loves him and his beautiful wife, Deborah, for another reason, too. And it's a organization called Glove to Glove. And basically, in a nutshell, Rusty Rubin was a guy that I believe, and hopefully Dave will correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure he will, via a text, because he doesn't know how to use the telephone anymore. But, the thing is this. These guys put together Glove to Glove, and the purpose of Glove to Glove is to bring out awareness of fighters and or their families or whatever that are going through sometimes and need some prayers and thoughts and everything else. And we all know that the power of prayer and positive thinking is something that works, whether you whatever your beliefs are. I mean, in religion, I mean, you have to admit that the power of prayer and at least positive thinking all work. And what Dave and Deb do with Glove to Glove right now is they really spread the word about people that we may not have heard about. And the latest one, I just could not, I couldn't prevent myself from saying anything. And this is about a guy that not only I enjoyed watching his fights, but I'm very good friends with. And I'm talking about the Bronx Bomber himself, Alex Ramos. Now, Alex Ramos, he himself has, went on a crusade for the retired boxers, and he calls it the Retired Boxing Organization, where he helps retired boxers, find their way in life outside of boxing. Well, Alex is battling his own battles, and Deb and Dave sent out a notice to all of us yesterday. And I wanted to share it with you. It's an update on the Bronx Bomber. Whether you know or not, Alex has been going through some serious stuff with his brain and everything else. And they just gave us an update, and apparently they're going to do a lumbar drain, which basically drains the lumbar spine. And they're going to, hopefully, that this is going to work and help him. And they're telling us that it's not a guarantee, that it's a 50-50 shot, but it's an opportunity. And out of all of this, forget the surgery, forget the fact that they're going in your head and all that stuff. Out of all of this, everybody's in good spirits because we know Alex and Jackie Richardson, who said, who's basically like a spokesperson for Alex these days, says, hey, listen, all I could say is Alex is a fighter, so look out, nurses. one of the things that Alex is his biggest concern apparently has nothing to do with the surgery, the danger involved in it, and all of this stuff, the success. All he cares about is having a patch of his hair cut out, and he says he's real proud of his gray locks. And one of his big things is when he was fighting on TV was he never wanted to get his hair messed. So hey, I just wanted to relay it. We need your thoughts and prayers about Alex, the Bronx Bomber Ramos. He's my man, and I just wanted to give some recognition to Dave and Deb Wilcox. So there was some fights last night in New England, and Deion Savage, because I'm not going to be able to pronounce his real name, it's Shaquan El Amin or something, improved to 12 wins, 3 losses, with 6 of his wins coming by knockout when he beat Joey McCready. Now, Irish Joey McCready was the hometown guy. The show was called Homecoming, and it was supposed to showcase him in the main event, and it didn't happen because El Amin, or Deion Savage, whatever you want to call him, he dominated the fight from start to finish, and in the process of winning the 10-round main event, he also picked up the USBO. That's the United States Boxing Organization super middleweight title. So, congratulations to Deion Sanders. That's the second mess up I had. Jackie Robinson, Deion Sanders. Where's my mind? But Deion Savage, damn it, he improves to 12-3 with 6 knockouts, and McCready drops to 13-6 with 2 draws and 6 knockouts. Also on the card, we had Sean Eklund, who's the nephew of Mickey Ward, and Mickey Ward trains him. He's a junior welterweight. He improved to 11-4 with 2 knockouts when he won a unanimous decision in his first 8-round fight from James Ventry. Also, Antonio Canas, he improved to 6-0 with a draw when he got up off the canvas not once but twice during the 3rd round, when he won a majority, he ended up with a majority draw in a back-and-forth fight against a 9-1 fighter going into the fight, Tyrone Chapman. So Chapman drops to 9-1-2, or improves to 9-1-2 because it was a draw with 6 knockouts. And Antonio Canas, he gets the first draw of his career, now at 6-0-1. Jimmy Smith, he came out and knocked out Rafael Justino in the first round. He couldn't continue because of his cut. It was a no contest. The 4-round decision in the opening fight of the night went to Anthony Jones, who's now 1-0 with a draw when he won a 4-round fight over Bernie Ongwe, who made his pro debut. It was made official. That's right. No, not me. Not me. I'm talking about Lamont, you dummy, Peterson, and Amir Khan. The fight's canceled. Fight has been scratched. That's right. The fight has been scratched. We kind of knew this was happening. It was announced earlier yesterday that Keith Kaiser, the Nevada State Athletic Commissioner, said, well, we don't have any plans of, giving Lamont Peterson a license. The guy tested positive for a banned substance. He admitted using the same banned substance prior to the first fight. We're not letting this guy fight in our jurisdiction. And as a result, the whole card was canceled. And, rightfully so. Now, I've been critical of Richard Schaefer at times, because sometimes I don't really believe anything he said. But, he's upset, and he has a right to be. He says, I'm extremely disappointed. There's no room in this sport or any other to use testosterone. He says, I just don't think that there's any place for that. He says, the lack of transparency, he's real pissed at the VADA about not giving them the update when they knew. It would have given them ample time to reschedule an opponent and keep the date and not lose what he's calling hundreds of thousands of dollars on Golden Boy's part. And he also mentioned the concern about all the fans I talked about earlier, of how many people were going to travel and everything else. I mean, all these people lost money, and he blames a lot of it on VADA and the Nevada State Athletic Commission for not informing them. They claim that VADA claims that they didn't have to. They said that under the medical laws, they're only supposed to inform when a test result comes. They're only supposed to inform the first party, that they're not obligated to inform third party. They had to inform the patient, which was Peterson, and the commission. And as far as a third party, they felt that was the responsibility of either the commission or the fighter and his team, which neither did anything to until the second result of the B sample came back positive, which for some strange reason, Richard Schaefer asked, why did it take so long for that second result to come back, which, again, I agree with Richard Schaefer. It was handled kind of crazy, and as a result, we lose the fight altogether. We don't have a replacement. The card is canceled. The HBO, they lose money. They had this stuff ready to roll. I kind of, as much as I hate to agree with the big boys, so to speak, I don't totally agree with Golden Boy and Richard Schaefer right now. Now, the only thing I don't agree with is they're talking about now, since Lamont, you dummy, Peterson admitted using the steroid for the previous fight, that they want to strip him of his titles and overturn the result as a no contest, which means the fight never took place, and therefore Amir Khan didn't lose his titles, and then they give the titles back to Khan. I have a hang-up with that. I mean, I guess if a no contest ruling, when you rule a no contest, you are ruling the fact that the fight didn't take place, so to speak. So you got to go back to that point. But man, I just have a hang up with fighters that get handed titles without fighting for them. This is a pretty crazy case. I'm not sure, man. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that they should say, okay, Lamont cheated? He didn't only get caught cheating now. He admitted that he cheated in the first fight. We should rule that a no contest and give Amir Khan back his titles? Or should we keep, whether they rule that a no contest or keep the ruling in place, because it already had went under investigation, that fight, or do we make Amir Khan fight the next guy available? Whoever that number one guy is, if the IBF and the WBA can agree on an opponent for Amir Khan, can he fight them for that belt? So I don't know, man. What do you think? What do you think he should do? Drop me an email, billy@talkinboxing.com. That's TALKINBOXING.com. I got to take a break. When I come back, the spelling machine, Daxx Khan, will be joining us.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on talkinboxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TALKINBOXING.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out the ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
Hit Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh? What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing Studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C., a radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. And if you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, you need to call your local TV provider, whether it's satellite or cable, and tell them that you want Fight Now right now. For all the information about the channel, look on their website, www.fightnow.com. I want to give an update. We got some comments right now, live, out of the chat room, concerning my question I just asked. And I think if David Allen and Dave Murphy, who are giving me comments, could reach out at a computer and smack me, I think they want to, because David Allen says if Peterson cheated, then the titles go back to Khan. Murphy says he did win the titles in the ring. If the fight gets changed to a no contest, he wouldn't have lost them in the ring. The titles go back to Amir Khan. Hey, good points. Can't argue. Speaking of arguing, we argue all the time. We're like the odd couple. Daxx Khan joins us. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? I'm here to boost the ratings and pay the bills.
Yeah. That's right. All of a sudden, wow, all these people, the system just went down because of all the people tuning in to listen to Daxx. Hey, I got a plethora of questions for you, so let's get right down to it. First and foremost, what's your thoughts on this Peterson thing? I mean, you were right in the chat room talking with the guys, and you heard what I was saying. I mean, how do you think? Should they give the titles back if they rule it a no contest? I mean, what's your thoughts?
Usually, I would say no if there was some type of controversy different than this. But this, when it comes to these type substances with the fighters, and you see in there, I was very disappointed with this. With the whole, I guess we can consider these performance-enhancing drugs. It was a testosterone. I'm not really sure exactly how all that stuff works, but yeah, you know what? Give it back to Khan, but not that I think, I do think, maybe they could put him up vacant, but something, Khan lost his titles to a guy who was on performance-enhancing drugs, so give it back to him, and that's my opinion on it. I'm not a Khan fan, but, it's like being cheated. It's like if you're playing poker with somebody and you lose all your money at the casino and find out that the dealer was dealing wrong, do they make you play for your money back, or should you get your money back?
I think the issue here, and I think these guys made the right point. First of all, if they go back and they rule the first fight a no contest based on an admission, because remember, they're not going to have any facts to back it up, right? They're not going to. It's an admission, and then they could deny the admission. They could say, no, they misunderstood us. We were thinking about going to get the testosterone in October or whatever the case is. But if the powers that be rule it a no contest, then theoretically the fight didn't take place, and prior to the fight, Amir Khan had the belt. So I guess I couldn't argue with that. I just, I don't know. I just, as a fighter, I wouldn't want to win that way. But then again, I certainly wouldn't want to have lost that way, too. So it's a tough one. Couple of questions about the fights from last week. These guys didn't want to hear anything about Floyd, but we got to talk about Floyd. I thought he fought a great fight against Cotto. I give him credit for beating Cotto. What's your thoughts real quick?
I got to give him credit. I thought Cody, you know what, not even, forget about Floyd. Let's talk about Miguel. He's not getting the credit he deserves.
Oh, no, I thought...
Floyd, he's not getting the credit he deserves.
I thought he did.
I think, and I've said it for weeks. I said it on the show for weeks. I've said it in our social networks. I've said it on our website for weeks that, Floyd was going to win the fight, but after some tough moments, and you know what, there were some tough moments. I think Floyd a little bit underestimated Cotto. He came in at a career high. I had from an inside source that the day before the fights, they were a little bit nervous because Floyd was walking around at about 157, close to 158. He went out for a big dinner. He had a big breakfast the day of the weigh-ins. And it kind of showed in the fight. You know, Floyd didn't look as good as we've seen Floyd look in the past. And that's not taking anything away from Miguel. It's just, you know, because Miguel fought a great fight. He did show, as we talked tonight of the fights and the post-fight, that the jab is the way to beat Floyd. And actually, Oscar De La Hoya showed that to us a few years ago. But, yeah, Miguel Cotto's the one who I think really deserves the props. And not Miguel Cotto fought a great fight. Floyd, though, he did, and I said that the Thursday before the fight. I told you he has some heart. He's got his nose busted up, and he had heart. But I was thinking about you during the fight because I think it was, I forget if it was Howard Letterman or Larry Merchant who said the same thing that you said. Sometimes it's pride, and one of them said, I think Floyd's being embarrassed here. His nose is bloodied. He's not getting off on Cotto like he's used to. I think his pride is hurt.
Yeah, well, I think that
there's holes in the game, and I'll tell you what. When that was over, and when I left the casino and went to the restrooms, we're up on the casino floor. A lot of people up there were talking smack, and I don't mean young kids. You know, guys only know about Cotto and Mayweather. I'm talking about a lot of the old guys and established fight fans, guys have been around watching this game 20, 30, 40 years. All said Manny Pacquiao at his best. And looking at Floyd and some of that, if Manny used a little bit of a jab and kept up the pace, they said he'd wipe the floor with him. Looking at that version of Floyd compared to the version of Manny that, beat guys like, Margarito and the Manny that beat Cotto, I'd have to agree. I think Manny beats him down.
Well, I think that Floyd showed some versatility against Cotto. I liked what Cotto was doing, but he didn't do it all the way. Like, in other words, he wasn't throwing as many punches as he should have when he had Floyd laying against the ropes. Now, a lot of the Floyd fans, they all, are saying that he did that for us. He went against the ropes for us and all of that. I think he felt more comfortable on the ropes. I'm not sure why.
That's where he's been his whole career. Look at his career. That's the secret to Floyd, and that's the things where, again, not saying that, I know it all, but that was one of the things that, when we had talked about on the show, and not just me, Ray Leonard is another one that said it. In the Great Sugar Ray says, you got to take that into consideration seriously because his strategy, same thing, don't go against the ropes. That's where Floyd wins all the fights. That's where he knocks everybody out, is with that sneaky right-hand counter and blocks everything with that left shoulder.
Well, the thing about Manny, and then we'll move on to something else. The thing about Manny is that one of the most important things I remember about Manny and why he and Freddie Roach work so well together is he listens to Freddie, and I forget the fight it was in, but I'll never forget when Manny had a tendency to lean against the ropes, and Freddie, you know how Freddie only says one thing or maybe two in between rounds, and he says to Manny, when you feel that rope on your back, get away from it.
Turn off of him. I remember that fight.
And he has never let the ropes be on his back since. Now, keeping that in mind, and if he did do like you suggest and fought Mayweather in the center of the ring, Mayweather doesn't get to use his defense as well. And I think that Manny Pacquiao's darting style and his hand speed and the fact that his punches come from all these crazy angles, I agree with you. I think that Pacquiao will give Floyd trouble. I said it a long time ago that I predicted Pacquiao would not only win, that he would knock out Floyd.
And the pace.
Well, I kind of thought that after watching Pacquiao against Marquez and of course Mayweather against Victor Ortiz, I thought maybe I was wrong. But, hey, I want to see the fight, and we'll have to wait and see. On the same card, we had Saul Alvarez beat up what we all saw was a finished, pretty much, Shane Mosley. What's your thoughts on that fight, and where does Shane go from here? And where does Alvarez go?
That was sad.
Yeah.
It truly was. That was sad, Bill. I mean, when I was in the arena at the Mohegan Sun, and there was actually people sitting there, saying that they should stop the fight. It was almost, Mosley wasn't getting hurt that bad, no, but it was just that sad to see. You don't like to see, a legend, and Mosley is a legend, and he is the first ballot Hall of Famer. But, it was sad to see him just get beat up like that. Yes, Alvarez is a strong kid. He has a great, bright future ahead of him. But it almost reminded me in a way, and I was talking about this with a few other writers, like when Trevor Berbick fought Ali. Yeah, a good fighter that he's fighting, but you know what? He was just manhandling him. And those body shots, I could almost feel for Shane, some of them body shots. I remember that one that Alvarez came in with and caught him with this right hook. And you seen the look on Shane where Shane almost, like, you could see he almost wanted to give up. And it was almost like, you know what, just stop. This man's being embarrassing. But you know what? At the end, Shane was all class as always. He smiled. He laughed. He says, I don't know. Maybe it's time. These young kids are beating me up. So I think we've known for a while it was time for Shane to go. And sky's the limit for Alvarez. We were just talking about it in the chat room. If you were noticing before that, you know what, Alvarez, what's so amazing about him, no amateur experience. Yeah, he has 40 fights as a pro, but you know what? He's learned on the job. This all comes natural to him. And my dream fight, and I add that my dream fight, and I'm going to do an article about this, would be him versus Fernando Vargas at that same age. Could you imagine the fireworks in that one?
Yeah, no, that would be a good fight. And I noticed something about Saul Alvarez, and one of the listeners gave me his reason why he thought it was true, but I don't know if I agree. But he had a tendency to lock his knees before he threw punches, and not lock them backwards, kind of like, if you lean forward, your knee locks into place. And I can't see how that would be an advantage in any way, shape, or form, because it ruins your mobility. And that's what Alvarez was doing all night against Sugar Shane. There was a touching moment. I think you and I talked about it on the phone yesterday when Shane Mosley, when I think Larry Merchant was asking him something about that, along those lines, about the young kids or whatever. And Shane could tell that he cared about him, and he put his arm on his shoulder. Did you see that?
Yes, did see that. And as we were talking on the phone, too, I think I believe, and a lot of people believe, I think Saul Alvarez took it easy on him.
Yeah,
I think he was trying to spare him his dignity, but then again, and that's another reason why the Trevor Berbick Ali thing came up, because it was almost, that happened, but, we were thinking about how that was such a bad fight where, prime over Berbick, but then, remember, when Ali fought Holmes, Larry did what he did, but, he had to. But you can tell, and even Larry would say years later that, he didn't want to beat this man up, irregardless, it was still an idol of his. And there's, rumors that Larry actually went back to his dressing room and he cried. And, you can kind of see that. I'm not saying Alvarez went back to his dressing room and cried, but you can kind of see that same similar respect when it was going on. He didn't want to, do this to this man. He didn't want to lower his dignity, and he didn't want to hurt this man. But, he did have a job to do out there.
I think he wanted to hurt him at the end. I thought he was turning it up a little bit. I could almost agree with you throughout the fight until the last 3 rounds.
But he does have a job to do out there as well, though.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Again, his corner does tell him, if you don't do your job and get it done, you're really hurting your marketability. It comes to the point of, Bill, if you got to feed your kids, what do you do? It's kind of like that analogy. It's by him having a really bad performance and, a low performance against Shane, not showing he could dominate, that would have been really bad for him and really dropped him down a few pegs in the eyes of the public.
Right. And there was one other fight. Did you get to see the Huck Alafalobi fight?
That was a good fight. Real good fight, wasn't it?
It was a good fight. And, a lot of people are knocking Huck for coming out of that with a draw. But, I think that I think it calls for a third fight. These guys had fought once before, and maybe
Absolutely.
we see a third fight.
And I think Huck might be outgrowing that division.
I don't know. I think he did the same mistake against Afalobi that he did against Povetkin. He just wasn't throwing enough punches, and he didn't. He doesn't run out of gas.
Maybe he's starting, but maybe he believes in his power more than what he should. I'm not really sure, I mean, the last time he really lost a fight was against Steve Cunningham, and that was years ago, and that was the real true version of Steve Cunningham. But you know what? Fights like that are good for the cruiserweight division, and it brings excitement. And a third fight would be great, and get some more of those guys in the mix. That's an exciting division, in my opinion, if more fights were made. So I was pleasantly pleased by that.
Yeah, no,
yes, a third fight is necessary.
I love the cruiserweight division. All right, this week we got a couple of fights that I'm going to ask you about. First of all, on Showtime, Udell Johnson against Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson's putting down his guitar, and he's going to be stepping in the ring with Udell Johnson. What's your thoughts on that one?
That could be, And Willie Nelson's a last-minute replacement. I can't think off the top of my head who the original opponent for Udell was. But Willie Nelson's a replacement. And something about this just smells upset. It really does. Last-minute replacement, Willie's very confident from what I've read and what I've heard. He's not a bad fighter. You know, he is a skilled fighter. I think Udell really hasn't beat anybody, and this has been the year of the upsets so far and year of surprises. So I think, you know, if I was going betting on paper, I'd go with Johnson, but I wouldn't be surprised, and my jaw wouldn't be dropped if Nelson wins.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Freddie Hernandez, and then the other fight as well.
And Nelson hits harder than Fernandez, too, so who knows how Johnson trained. Did he train for a guy at Freddie Seller, or is he actually ready for a guy that hits like Nelson does?
And Rances Barthélemy, his opponent was changed, too. He originally was fighting Alan Martinez. But Bado Jack is also on the card. Now, he's trained by Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, and I was talking with him on the phone the other day, and he said that keep an eye on Bado Jack. This guy's the real deal, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. On the pay-per-view, we're getting to see the third fight finally in the flyweight division between Brian Valora and Omar Nino. What's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, at this point in time, I think I'm going to go with Nino.
Nino, yeah. You know,
Valora's not that consistent to me.
I think you hit it right on the head with Valoria. He you know, every time I'm ready to count him out, he comes back with a great win. Every time I think that he's back to stay, he comes out with a stinker. You just don't know what you're going to get with this guy. You know, I mean, he's an exciting fighter, and I think the boxing world wants him to be at the top. But I don't know. Maybe it's just his worth ethic. I don't know, man. But you're right. I'm leaning towards Valoria in this one. But I think it's going to be another good one, just like the other two.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight, but yeah, I just don't. Like I said, Valoria's not consistent enough for me, you know, to sit there and really go on the edge with him. So I won't say. I can't say that he's going to win that.
You got a roundup for us this week, my man?
Well, you did it for me mostly. I mean, you know, there's not much out there this week. My goodness, this is a slow week. I think, you know, pretty much everybody rolled the dice and shot the big wins last week. You know, on Friday, we were just talking about, you know, out of Texas Station Casino in Las Vegas, Showtime's going to air that card. And what's good about that card, it's all, you know, undefeated prospects on there, as we were just talking about in the main event. Will be, you know, the 12-0 154-pound hopeful Udell Johnson versus 17-1 Willie Nelson, and the battle of light heavyweight unbeaten 10-0 Bado Jack faces 17-0 Alexander Brand, and both those have over a 75% KO ratio between those two, so there's a good chance that doesn't go the distance. Also, unbeaten Cuban featherweight 15-0 Rances Barthélemy is going to be on that card. At the Doubletree Hotel in Ontario, California, our man Kurt Taylor is going to be there for the Thompson Boxing Promotions event. Welterweight Aaron Martinez is going to face Joshua Marks. Unbeaten super bantamweight Jonathan Romero brings his 20-0 record in against Jose Silveria. And ladies flyweight action is also in the bill as Cindy Amador faces Amaris Quintana. And Saturday, Telefutura airs the Golden Boy promotion card in the super featherweight division. Vincent Escobedo takes on Juan Ruiz in the main event. And in Poughkeepsie, New York, where I'll be, Snooki Boxing Promotions, the moniker used by Nicole Polizzi, the star of MTV's Jersey Shore, and the name that her father is using for the promotion company. Snooki Boxing is going to have a card at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. And unblemished Irish super featherweight Patrick the Puncher Hyland, a native of Ireland who now lives in Marlborough, New York, is actually going to be there to face well-known warrior and journeyman Frankie Archuleta. Middleweight knockout artist Bryant the Spartan Pappas will bring his 13-0 record, all 13-0s by knockout, into the ring against another hard puncher, Josh Williams, who has 5 wins, 4 by KO. Come up to me, mention the show, mention this week's trivia question, and win a giveaway. Other than that, really, you know something? I'm sad to say there's not much out there, Bill, this week. That's really all worth mentioning, in my opinion. Well, unless you want to talk about Kimbo Slice, but, you know, I think there'll be like 2, maybe 3 fans there, so they're not going to go to anything else. Mm-hmm. And just a quick mention, I got to give it up. 2 weeks in a row, I'm telling you, a week before last and last week, 2 American fighters, 2 former 140-pound champions went overseas and caught the upset. DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley went over last week. He beat the highly talented European prospect Paul McCloskey. Man, what's going on with these guys, man? The guys that we've written off the door are done, and the guys that have been brought over to Europe, where, Chop Chop and Malignaggi as record patters can both come back, Bill, with wins by knockout.
Well, I tell you, man, either it's showing us that they're taking their jobs a little more seriously, or this is what you get when you hand feed your fighter when they're coming up and you don't test them the right way. And when, you get in there with a real fighter, and obviously Chop Chop is a real fighter, and so, of course, is Paulie Malignaggi. So, hey, you know what? That's why they fight the fights, my man. Hey, I wanted to ask you, first of all, I'll comment on the Poughkeepsie show. Brian Pappas is a guy that is he? I want you to keep an eye on him, because I don't think he's got much. Nothing against Brian; he does a lot of good things and everything. But when you look at who he's fought and everything, is this a fight that he's in this week? Is it a step up for him, or is it the same level of opposition that this guy's been hand fed?
I think you said it right there.
Right. Because
I've seen. I think he's got, 15 fights, 16 fights now, something like that. I've seen about 10 or 11 of his fights. And, yeah, he's won, so many of them by knockout, but they were all just really sandbag pushovers. And looking at Brian in the ring, he doesn't do anything special. He's not overly fast. He's not really, in my opinion, he's not an overly strong puncher. He doesn't have an overly long reach. He's not overly tall. He doesn't have great movement. He doesn't have great defense. They're really, really, feeding this kid some
bums,
some tomato cans, for lack of a better word, Billy C phone systems, and this is going to be, as we were just talking about these Euro fighters, who have been really hand-fed. The first time this guy gets in with somebody that's worth something, in my opinion, that's the last time we're going to hear of him. And I think that's why he has been nothing but on these small local shows, because he's somebody that they can just use his record's going to attract, the local fan that nobody knows.
Well, the thing is that he is a cop. First of all, I can't stand cops, but he's a cop, so they come, he gets his buddies to come, and which is good. And he's a local guy that sells tickets, so you could see why they're...
So what? Forrest Griffith was a cop, too, from the over in the UFC. He left his career to become, a world champion. But, Forrest Griffith didn't walk around and fight tomato cans for $300 at a pop.
No, I'm not knocking people for being fighters. It's that stench of police, the coffee and donut smell I can't stand, But, hey, I got a question for you. The BBBFC, which you and I had a long discussion about the other day, which we'll save the listeners about that. I mean, I got so sick of saying the letter B, I changed my name.
Yeah, we'll save Billy C the embarrassment on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, what was it? You know what? You still haven't come up with any proof. Why don't you ask one of these guys? Why don't you ask David Allen? He should know all about that with the...
There is an official BBBFC champion.
What's up with that, David Allen? Would you explain that to us? How can the BBBFC...
The BBBFC is a boxing commission, but they do have a champion.
I want to know...
Why you see constantly
I want to know why...
BBBFC championship.
I want to know... The BBBFC is the British Board of Boxing Control. It's a commission that oversees boxing in England. And I want to know how they basically sanction a title. So hopefully David Allen will have the...
remember this.
He's saying that all the Lonsdale. He's saying that all the Lonsdale belts. Yeah, no kidding. He's saying that.
How did they sanction it?
No, there used to be a lot of states that had world titles. Pennsylvania had one. California had one. But that was before some of these sanctioned bodies. But he's saying that the Lonsdale belt holders are all the British Board of Boxing Control. Okay, all right, good enough. But my question is this to you: what's your thoughts on David Haye fighting Derek Chisora? The BBBFC issued a warning yesterday. As a matter of fact, I was just going to talk about it, saying that anybody that's involved with this fight will be stripped of their licenses. Now, Derek Chisora and David Haye, neither one of them Derek Chisora was suspended by the BBBSC for 1 year, or actually he was suspended for life. I don't know if they got that reduced to 1 year. David Hay had been in retirement, so he doesn't even have a license. So neither one of those two. However, the promoter, Frank Warren, he's got a license. What's your thoughts on them making this statement and, of course, the fight itself?
The fight itself I like. The politics of it, I'm kind of in agreement. I'm in agreement with something. If there's a suspension issued, there's a suspension issued, and you have to go through whether it be in America, where each state has its own athletic commission, or whether it be in over in England, where they have one big commission over there, I believe, and if you're going against that, you know what? Then you're not part of the sport because there's rules implemented for a reason. This is an organized sport. So if you're not, and then something, if they do go against that, in my personal opinion, there should be a worldwide ban. And that should go the same thing as if there's a suspension with somebody, how in the United States, if you get suspended, we say New York, if you get suspended in New York, let's say, almost every state's going to uphold that.
Only if
we need that worldwide.
But you know what? They do it on a volunteer basis. The ABC is a voluntary organization that you joined, if you want, and they all agree that they will uphold it. But truthfully, if New York,
they don't have to. I mean,
they
Texas
don't.
is overridden. That's how Valero fought in this country.
And
but it's
he right, because the medical requirement was different. But what they told me, and what actually a listener educated me on, which I did not know, is that because of the European Free Trade Act, you can get in this case, a sanctioning body that's out of Germany to come to England and sanction a fight, and the BBBSC can't do anything about it. So it's not like they're doing something illegal. They don't recognize the fighters or the fight, but everyone else will. So I think it's good for I hate to say this, as much as I can't stand David Hay, and I don't want to see those kinds of things happen at press conferences that happen between him and Chisora. But when you put those issues aside and you look at the two fighters, and you look at what we can see in the ring, I like this fight. I think it's a good fight, and I think that if David Hay does win, that he does deserve a shot at a Klitschko after that. I'm glad that they're making him fight this kind of a fight rather than just hand him another payday.
I agree. Like I said, the fight itself, I like. And I think maybe it might have been yesterday on our Talk Box with Billy C Facebook page. I had put on, I'm calling it right now for Hay. Both these guys are similar in size. Actually, David Hay, I think he has a little bit less than 2 inches of a height advantage on Chisora, and he's got about a 5-inch reach advantage. He's in better shape. I think Chisora is a little bit more durable down the road and knows a little bit more how to keep his chin protected. But I think if we see the David Hay that was the gangbuster that comes out of the gate so quick, so hard, and so fast as a cruiserweight, or even when he first came into the heavyweight division, I think he can definitely knock out Derek Chisora. But, there's bad blood there. They're both great trash talkers. They're two of the best non-American trash talkers that I've seen since Ricardo Mayorga. And I just think that, with the athleticism and David Hay, having that little bit of size advantage, and Chisora knowing how to survive a fight and get in something sneaky and all that, it has all the makings for a good fight. It really does. Has all the makings for exciting, not a pay-per-view type thing, but, it's a good fight. I like it. I'm excited. We need more fights, as me and you have both been saying, Bill, on this show for months. We need more of these fights in the heavyweight division that doesn't surround the Klitschko brothers.
No, I agree. But great job, Daxx. We'll look forward to you next week, my man.
All right, absolutely. Everybody, hopefully you can find a little something to watch on the tube this weekend, because there isn't too many fights. But everybody, the ones you do, just watch them. And Tony Tree, my man, keep getting better. I can't wait to hear you back.
I'm looking for a little something too, man. I could use a little something.
Yeah, I know, but I do answer my phone every third time you call. So
I'll talk to you later, man.
All right.
That's my man Daxx Khan, and I was not thinking of Daxx when I was thinking of I need a little something. But hey, I think they're saying real quick in here. I got to take a break, but they're saying real quick. David Allen thinks that David Hay will knock out Derek Chisora in 3. I like Chisora in the fight. And talk about smack talkers. like Dax just said, I don't mind Chisora. He's kind of nuts a little bit, but David Hay has never backed up his smack talk, and I think that's my hang-up with David Hay.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
Mike Tyson looked like he put on some pounds. He was fat. He went into McDonald's and he just said to them, hey, give me 6 of everything on the menu. He put on 2 watches and covered 2 time zones. I'm talking fat here. Got on a scale the other day and it said, come on, one of you guys got to get off. Last thing I heard is that he jumped into the ocean and he left a ring around the continent. He's fat.
Boxing
with Billy C.
Now back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young. And he's got martinis. So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C. Talking Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the #1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway, up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette, he's just a button edge, coming at you on the count of 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, and we're back. You are listening to the Talking Box with Billy C. Radio Show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel, and if you want it on your TV, you got to call your local television provider and tell them that you want Fight Now. Add it to your sports channel lineup. Visit their website for all the info on the channel and their latest schedule, www.fightnow.com. Speaking of now, don't forget about my man and the Whitehall Athletic Club. Hey, if you're looking to join an athletic club that has, a full gym, a sauna, a pool, tennis courts, basketball courts, live sporting entertainment all the time, fishing, boating, swimming, and a full golf course, along with several restaurants and bars and everything else, all in one place. I know you've heard of country clubs and everything else, but, man, this is what you want. You want an athletic club. Check them out, www.whitehallathleticclub.com, whitehallathleticclub.com. And speaking about whitehallathleticclub.com, we're going to be doing a show. That's right, a live professional show at the Whitehall Athletic Club in July. So make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to have a big announcement on that on Monday, and I will tell you who the main event's going to be. And all that other happy stuff. So, we're going to be doing a VIP Billy C for that event. It's in July, and I'll even tell you when. It's the week after 4th of July. That's all I'm going to say. It's the week after 4th of July, and we want you guys to come on up. And what we're going to do is we're going to put together a great package. It's going to include VIP seating. It's going to include hotel accommodations and food. So if you want to come up and join us for a great night of fights, the fights are going to take place on a Friday night. We're going to get you up there for the weigh-in, and you get to meet the fighters. You get a little food, little snack at night. Then you come back and you got tickets for the next day. So you get 2 rooms, 2 nights in a hotel, and of course the tickets to the event, VIP seating, and full access to all the stuff that's going to be going on prior to, during, and after the event. So if you're interested in an exclusive Billy C VIP package in Whitehall, New York, make sure you email us ASAP. These are going to go very quickly. It's a small venue. Email me, Billy at talkinboxing.com. That's TALKINBOXING.com. Speaking about some new stuff, I want you to check out, we have a new writer who joined the family. That's right. His name is Kurt Taylor, and he's got a little piece up there on BillyCBoxing.com right now. He's going to be covering some fights for us this weekend. And it's going to be the Thompson boxing card, Locked and Loaded, out in California. And my man Kurt's going to be covering that. So why don't you get an idea of how this kid can write by visiting our website and checking out his stuff. Hopefully he'll have his own column at some point, so you can follow his stuff. We were just talking about the BBBSC, and they issued a warning to David Hay and Derek Chisora about fighting outside of the British Boxing Board of Control. Unfortunately, they don't have the juice to enforce it because of the European laws, like I said. So we'll have to wait and see what the repercussions of that is. Earlier in the week, we talked about Lucien Boutte and a serious infection that he had in his foot. I was goofing around saying that he cut it on a blade of grass. Well, I got a phone call from a good friend of mine who works with Lucien Boutte, and he said, "How did you know? We kept it quiet." And I was like, I didn't know. Apparently he was wearing sandals and, cut himself on the blade of grass. Now, I've walked on that blade of grass. I told you guys I'm a tenderfoot, but I've walked on that grass in Florida, and it's like fake. It's so sharp. I mean, they're like razor blades, that grass. And I was only assuming, but apparently I was right. Salvador Sanchez. It makes me sick that Salvador Sanchez's name is Salvador Sanchez, and what makes me even more sick is that he calls himself Salvador Sanchez II. Now, typically, this is their little way around this, because he can't say he's a junior. Because he's not. He's not the son of the late, great Salvador Sanchez. He's the nephew. Now, he tries to look like him, which he does. He does resemble him a little bit. He wears the fro. He wears his uncle's old trunks. And that's about it, because the kid can't fight at all. Now, how weak have they been putting him in? Well, right now, he's quietly amassed a record of 29 wins, 4 losses, 3 draws, or 17 of his wins come by knockout. Now, he's fighting this weekend on Saturday. And guess what? They haven't even named an opponent yet. So, I mean, come on. How tough is he going to be in if they haven't given him an opponent yet a couple of days away from the fight? It's a shame that he's even using his uncle's name. If you've ever seen Welcome Back, Kotter, he looks exactly like Juan Epstein. Do a search on Juan Epstein from Welcome Back, Kotter. You tell me that Salvador Sanchez doesn't look like him. Austin Trout, no doubt Trout. He's 24-0. He's junior middleweight. He's the champion for the WBA. He's in a tough fight. His next fight is against Delvin Rodriguez. I love that fight. I really do, man. I can't wait for that fight. Delvin Rodriguez, you can never count him out. Now, Austin Trout, I am looking to see an improvement with him. I want to see him get better and better, and I think this is a great fight for him. Delvin Rodriguez, once again, is put in a position to what a great opportunity he's got. If he should somehow beat Trout, not only would he become a world champion, but, man, would his stock rise substantially. Just to keep you up to date, Delvin Rodriguez, he's currently sitting on a record of 26 wins, 5 losses, 3 draws. 14 of his wins came by knockout. And Austin, no doubt, Trout, is undefeated, 24-0 with 14 knockouts. Speaking of writers, check out Austin Colleen if you go to his column on BillyCBoxing.com. One of his first pieces he did for us was about Austin Trout, and it was pretty cool. So check that one out, see what you think. Gavin Rees and Derry Matthews, they're going to be fighting on the undercard of Kell Brook's next event, which is scheduled for July 7th in Sheffield, England. And these two guys are going to be fighting. Gavin Rees and Derry Matthews are going to be fighting for the European lightweight belt. Gavin Rees is sitting on a record of 36 wins, a loss, and a draw, with 17 of his W's coming by knockout. And Derry Matthews has been around forever. He's 30 wins, 6 losses, and a draw with 16 knockouts. Nice card, man. Looks pretty good. Now, there's also a European middleweight rematch when Kerry Hope, who upset Greg Proska in the last fight, and Kerry Hope is a marginal fan. I shouldn't even say this. I mean, this guy has fought 20 professional fights in his career, 17 wins, 3 losses, only 1 knockout, and he beat Proska, who only lost for the first time. Proska's 26 wins, 1 loss, 19 wins come by way of knockout. So those 2 fights are going to be on the undercard of Kell Brook. They have not officially announced his opponent. They are going to do it today. As a matter of fact, with the time difference, maybe they already did. But most people are thinking Carson Jones will be getting that shot. They talked about him initially when they announced the fight. I talked to Daxx about Francis Barthélemy. He's 15-0 with 11 knockouts. His opponent now is Robert Asabi, who's 11-4. It's in the super featherweight division on the off-TV bout on Friday. Now, originally they were going to have 3 fights on the show. I guess they're only going to have 2 now. So I don't know, man. A lot of these big cable networks are getting screwed in a way when these fights drop out because they base their whole programming around it, and I know the extent of what's taking place, what has to take place for that. Did you catch the latest news that I was wondering what was going to go on, but Glenn the Road Warrior Johnson, 51 wins, 16 losses, 2 draws, 35 coming by knockout, a true throwback fighter. He's going in. He's fighting again, July 13th. Always like to watch this guy fight. And once again, this kid, I call him a kid. He's a kid to me, but he's over 40 now. Glenn Johnson is taking on another young gun fighter in Andrzej, the Polish Prince Fonfara. Fonfara's 21 wins, 2 losses, 12 of his wins coming by knockout. It's going to be taking place in Chicago, right where Fonfara is from. And it's going to be the main event July 13th in Chicago. So we'll see what happens there. Now, guess what? We're going to have another old fighter on that card in the co-main event, Jose Luis Castillo. That's right, the same guy. Jose Luis Castillo, 63 wins, 11 losses, and a draw, 54 knockouts. Is going to be taking on Ivan Popopka, who's another local fan favorite in Chicago. Popopka's 15 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. It'll be part of Friday Night Fights. Imagine that. You imagine ESPN putting on a Friday night fight on Friday night. Could you imagine? It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Juan Manuel Marquez, we talked about it yesterday. They're talking about some good fights for him. Bam Bam Rios. They also talked about Zab Judah, Mercito Gesta, and they even threw in Cesar Cuencia as possible opponents. He is looking at Eric Morales, but not for the fight in July, on July 14th. That's taking place at Dallas Cowboy Stadium. So, they also announced the undercard for, I just mentioned about Lucien Boute's foot, and they announced the undercard for his super middleweight world title defense against Lucien Boute. Against Carl Froch on May 26th in England. Now, check out this undercard. We have Carl Frampton will be taking on Raul Morales for the vacant intercontinental super bantamweight belt. Eric Oching is going to be defending his junior middleweight title, his English junior middleweight title, against A.A. Lau. And junior welterweight Pierre Oliver Code, who's out of the Montreal area. He's making his United Kingdom debut when he steps in the ring. And they're also going to have some other young fighters on there, including John Ryder Ashton, and Scotty Cardle, all on the undercard. So it looks like a pretty entertaining card, but I'm sure the main reason people are going to be going is because of the main event, Boute and Carl Froch. Really good fight. Interesting to find the winner of that fight. It's really going to define the landscape of the super middleweight division, because right now it's kind of in turmoil with all the BS from the WBC claiming that Andre Ward is a champion in recess, and him talking about moving up to light heavyweight. Oh, man. Vlad Klitschko. Now, yesterday, if you check out our show, we do another little show every day. It's called Thumbs Up, Thumbs Down. I give my thoughts on who gets thumbs up, who gets thumbs down on a daily basis in the sport of pro boxing. Well, yesterday I gave a thumbs up to Vladimir Klitschko for taking on Tony Thompson on July 7th. Now, you could be saying to yourself, what are you giving him a thumbs up for that for? It's a mandatory. He's got to do it, and Tony Thompson's nothing special. Well, first of all, Tony Thompson is underrated, man. He's a big guy. If you've seen any of the press shots, you can see that he's almost the same size as Vlad Klitschko. I think Klitschko's only got about an inch or two on him at the most. But the thing about Thompson is, first of all, he was holding his own until the knockout in the first fight, which was 4 years ago, I think. And the key here is what I said yesterday. Klitschko usually uses Tony Thompson as a sparring partner when he's preparing for other fights. And, when you spar with somebody over and over and over, you both get to know each other. Now, I give an attaboy for Vlad Klitschko for taken on a fighter again. Well, again, he had to, but taken on a fighter that knows him, so to speak. But I think it may be easier for Klitschko to fight a fighter he spars rather than Tony Thompson fight the fighter he spars. Now, understand what I mean. Tony Thompson is hired as a sparring partner, so therefore sparring partners generally get told what to work on, what they want their fighter to work on. So they might say to Tony, hey, today, Vlad wants to work on body punching. So we want you to, put yourself in a position where Klitschko can land some body shots. So they dictate to Tony Thompson what they want him to do. That becomes bad when a real fight happens because he's so used to fighting this guy that maybe he follows what Vlad does and automatically has got the old, which we call sparring partner mentality. And I think that it's going to be more dangerous for Tony Thompson than it will be for Vlad Klitschko. Either way, I like the fight, believe it or not. And I also like the fact that they're both fighting each other, so I give both of the guys credit in this one. Ricky Hatton's been in the news lately, and he lost his gig with Sky Sports and everything else. But now he's getting some issues here with some of his fighters as he builds his promotional team. And, he's got some accusations about him. And some of his fighters, like David Caldwell, is a trainer of his junior middleweight, Ryan Rhodes. And Caldwell, I said Caldwell, it's Caldwell, is making accusations that Ricky Hatton and his company, Hatton Promotions, are not acting in his boxer's best interest, Ryan Rhodes. He says after the Hitman started training his rival, who's Sergio Rabchenko. Now, Ricky went on the record and he made a statement yesterday, and he said, and I quote, "I'm in an awkward and horrible position right now as I am the trainer and a promoter. I think the world of Ryan and all my boxers. Ryan and his trainer, Dave Caldwell, have known me long enough to know I have all my boxers' best interests at heart. It's a strange situation, but I've thought of all the people that Caldwell, who is also a promoter and a trainer, would have understood the predicament I'm in. Since Hatton Promotions started promoting Ryan, we have secured him a world title challenge, and this will be the second time we've made a European title shot for him. For Caldwell to insinuate that we would be possibly stitching Ryan up and not acting in his best interest has hurt me personally. These are unfair comments from Caldwell, and it shows what a fickle sport boxing is. He seems to forget what I have done for Ryan since we've signed him." He went on to say, "I did an honorable thing and spoke to Ryan explaining that I was now working with Sergi after he pulled out. I tweeted just over a week ago that Sergi had landed in Manchester and was training at the gym. Caldwell tweeted back that Ryan didn't know I was training him and said, as Ryan's promoter, I was trying to get him beat. It goes without saying I'm training Sergio to win, but as a promoter, it doesn't change anything. As the promoter of the winner, I would bend over backwards for them to secure a world title, and it goes without saying that I will be there to help the loser rebuild their career." They're talking about the fight, the card Road to Glory. There's a super bantamweight interim belt on the line between Scott Quigg and Rendell Monroe, and of course the fight that I was talking about. But it is a tough position for Ricky Hatton, and when you are a promoter, your initial goal is to promote fights, to make money from the promotion of that fight. What's evolved with promotions now is the stable of fighters that these promoters have, and what's more become the norm is to have the same fighter that's under a promotional contract fight each other under the same promotional banner. But what I don't think is too common is the situation that Hatton is in right now, where you are a promoter wearing a promoter's hat, but all of a sudden you're a trainer too. Now, as far as wearing a promoter hat, your best interest is in either of the fighters if you have signed promotional contracts to them. But when a trainer and a fighter work together, they build up a bond. And if they don't build up a bond, they typically don't last long. And I think that some of the concerns of Ryan Rhodes is based on that, is based on the fact that Ricky Hatton is in the gym every day with his competitor, Rabchenko, whatever, and, that maybe if push comes to shove, he would treat him better and everything else. I think I could see why Ryan Rhodes' team is upset, and I can also agree that Ricky Hatton is in a tough situation. But I think it's Ricky Hatton's problem. I'm not suggesting that he doesn't train fighters, but he's going to have to figure out a way to deal with this kind of thing, because his basically input to his promotion company is not only trying to sign fighters and use his name, but also his training abilities. Maybe give somebody else the reign. Maybe have somebody else be the director of boxing operations, like they do at Golden Boy. I don't know, but I can certainly understand both points. From a promoter's perspective, he's a win-win situation. The fact that Hatton's in the corner of somebody, I could see why Ryan Rhodes gets upset, and I certainly wouldn't want to be in Ricky's shoes at this point. Showtime. They announced their Fight Camp 360 about Victor Ortiz and Andre Berto, the second fight. It's going to be 3 episodes, and it's going to kick off Wednesday, June 13th on Showtime. I can't stand Mayweather so much and I can't stand watching him not in the ring on stuff like 24/7, that I don't even watch these shows anymore. I just, because I don't think they're reality shows to me are not real. They're too much acting. It's a listen, you want a camera, you want to see people that are acting their lives normal without acting, without doing retakes, without doing that. Guess what? Candid camera, hidden cameras, stuff like that. Then you'll catch people without, in reality. What's evolved with reality shows today are definitely actors that become stars. Look at Snooki. David Price is a giant heavyweight, 6'8". He lives in England. He was hoping to fight Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, in his mind, has moved on to the world stage, and David Price is trying to get there. Now he's an undefeated fighter right now at 12-0. And he's taken on a pretty tough guy on May 19th, and it's Sam Sexton. Sam Sexton is 15-2. They're fighting for the vacant British and Commonwealth titles, which I believe Tyson Fury had to vacate. He just went to a German camp. No, not a concentration camp. A German boxing camp. And feels that this camp made all the difference for him. And I quote, "This German camp, my highway camp, will make me the champ." So we'll see what happens, man. He said he worked very hard, and we'll see. We'll see how much of a real deal he is. I think he's got a questionable chin, but we'll have to wait and see. Ashley Theophane was on this. He's defending his British junior welterweight title against Steve Williams. Steve Williams has only been beaten one time, 12 wins, 1 loss. Theophane, 31 wins, 4 losses, and a draw. In case you don't know it. I love Ashley Theophane. I think this guy is underrated. And there is another fight on that card. Adwell Anwar, who's got a 16-1 record. He's taking on Lenny Dawes, who's 23-2. They are taking on each other for the opportunity to fight Ashley Theophane for his junior welterweight crown, should Theophane get by Steve Williams. So we got an elimination bout going on there as well. One last thing I wanted to mention, well, actually a couple of things here, I guess 2 more things. The Brazilian Rocky, Michael Oliveira, 17-0, 12 knockouts. And we talked about this a month or so ago, but it's getting closer now. It's less than a month away. He's going to be taking on, and did you forget this? If not, I'm going to remind you, Acilio Freitas. That's right, he's coming back. This fight will be in the junior middleweight division, I believe. Now, Oliveira used to campaign as a as a middleweight. But this particular fight is in the junior middleweight division. And Acilio Papo Freitas, 38 wins, 2 losses. As you know, he's a world champion in the lightweight division. So he says he wants to fight, but he hates training. So I wonder what that's going to be. We'll see what happens in this one. It's taking place June 2nd, so keep your eyes open for that. One last thing, for real this time, Broadway Boxing. Lou DiBella's series that he has in New York is coming back to the Roseland Ballroom on Thursday night, June 14th. Thomas Delorme is on that card. But the main event is Shawnee Monahan. I'm disappointed in that because Shawnee Monahan is one of the most overrated. You know what? I'm going to say he's overrated because he hasn't fought anybody yet. You know, another one of these local guys who sells tickets, and, you know, it's all about the money. So, you know, I hope they haven't announced an opponent for him. But I hope that, in my opinion, I hope that they give him somebody good, just so we can see where this kid's at.
Wake up. It's time for It's too early for a trivia question.
All right, man. It's my favorite part of the show. It's too early for a trivia question. Question is being brought to us today by Star Boxing and their May 18th ESPN event, which is taking place at the Albany Times Union. Get yourself some tickets right now by visiting our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the Star Boxing fight poster, which is right on the front page to the right. You see all the fight posters there. Click that. Tell them Billy C sent you. Demand a Billy C discount. On the line, we got a couple of prizes. I beefed it up, man. First and foremost, we got a great prize right here. Billy Miskey, the St. Paul Thunderbolt. It's Clay Moyle's latest book. This is a great book. You can get your own copy by visiting our website, www.billycboxing.com, and under the book club, you can get a special priced signed copy directly from Clay, or you can win this one right here, this one, if you get this trivia question right. I'm also threw in a collector's edition. This was a phone card that was issued in the late 1990s, and it commemorates Rocky Marciano knocking out Jersey Joe Walcott. It's got his undefeated record on here. There was only a few of these made. I had a box of these courtesy of pugilistica.com, and I didn't realize I had more. So I got about 10 more of these, and then that's it. There's no more in the world. So I'm throwing this in, too. If you know the answer to this question, and I'm going to give you guys a huge hint because I'm sick of all the tears. The question is, when was the first bout in which the details of the official scoring were announced by the ring announcer? When was the first bout in which the details of the official scoring were announced by the ring announcer? I'm going to give you guys the decade it was in. I gave you a hint that it was between 1930 and 1950. Now I'm going to give you, it was between, I'm going to give you 5 years. I'm not even going to give you a decade. I'm going to give you 5 years. This fight took place between 1940 and 1945. This fight took place between 1940 and 1945. When was the first bout in which the details of the official scoring were announced by the ring announcer? If you know this answer, and this fight took place between 1940 and 1945, email me, Billy at TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being brought to us by Campanero and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. That's Campanero and Tomkovich. Let Campanero and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099, 845-221-4099. On this day, May 10th in 1989, Mike McCallum wins a 12-round decision over Harold Graham to win the vacant WBA World Middleweight title, and that fight took place on this day, May 10th in 1989, in Kensington, England. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. Don't forget about our Thumbs Up, Thumbs Down show, which we have on immediately following this show, usually within a minute or two. But right now, I do have one message. Make sure you tune in Monday morning live right here, same bat time, same bat channel, the Fight Now channel, of course. Call your local television provider right now and tell them you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. For all the information about the channel, you can visit their website, www.fightnow.com. And speaking of Fight Now, they will have a show tomorrow. It's just me that won't have a show here until Monday. All that stuff. Hey, ciao, baby.